Okay, so we want to solve this triangle, and by solve the triangle, you want to find all the missing angles and missing sides. And so what you'll notice is that we have a triangle here with a side that's 4, a side that's 5, and an included angle that is 51. Now, the first thing that is important to note, if given an included angle, use law of cosines. So if given an included angle, give law of cosines. And now what does an included angle mean? That means it is the angle that is sandwiched in between the sides. So an included angle is the angle that is sandwiched between the sides. Now, what law of cosines is going to give us is it's going to give us this missing side. The other time that you can use law of cosines, just because we're here and it's good to know, the other time you can use law of cosines is when you're given side, side, side. Okay, so law of cosines, the formula for that, which I did not derive this, is going to be a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of a. And what you will notice, a good way to memorize this, is what you will notice is that the a squared that's on the outside, the a squared is going to be the side for the included angle. You will always be searching for the side that is opposite of that included angle. So that is what we're looking for right there. And then the other two, it doesn't matter what order they go in, are the other two sides. So you are going to lead the formula with A and end the formula with A. So that being said, if we wanted to find B squared, so B squared equals, well, the two sides that we don't have would be A squared plus C squared. And then it would be minus 2AC, and then it would be cosine of that included angle. And the included angle would be the one that's sandwiched between the A and the C. And so you'll notice again that, look at this, b squared and then b. Okay, and then the last one, of course, would be c squared. Well, if you have c squared, then, or if you're looking for c squared, then you have to have b and a. And again, it doesn't matter what order these go in, but it's important that this side is that angle so that those match up. So in this particular triangle that we are solving for, we have not labeled A, B, or C, but because this is an included angle, we can say that we are searching for A. We can say that this is A. So A squared equals, well, B squared is 4 squared plus C squared is 5 squared minus 2 times 4 times 5 times cosine of 51 degrees. This is degrees. So when you plug this into your calculator, it must be in degree mode. Now, I like to simplify as much as I can before I plug it into my calculator. So 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25, 2 times 4 times 5 is going to be 40. 16 plus 25. 16 plus 25 is going to be 41 minus 40 cosine of 51, and that's going to be a squared. Now that I can plug into my calculator. And of course, we could plug it in the beginning as well. So here we go. I'm going to make sure that this is in degree mode because I'm plugging in a degree. And we're going to say 41 minus 40 times cosine of 51 degrees. And we have 15.82. 83. So we can say that a squared is 15.83. This is a squared. That's not a yet. That's not a yet. And so to get a, we have to take the square root. So a is the square root of 15.83. And we get approximately, let's say 4.0 or 3.98. Approximately 3.98. And that's whatever units. We just solve for a. We just found that this side length is approximately 3.98. So law of cosines allows you to find the side length of something that is not a right triangle. Just using basic sine and cosine wouldn't work here because we don't have a hypotenuse. We don't have a hypotenuse because we don't have a right triangle. Okay, so what we did was we applied the formula. A squared was this missing, so a was the missing side. 4 squared plus 5 squared minus 2 times 4 times 5 times cosine of 51. And then we solved it out. Now, for those of you that don't like to simplify first, of course, you could just plug this in. You could say 4 squared plus 5 squared minus 2 times 4 times 5 times cosine of 51. And you're going to get the same thing, and then you just take the square root of that. Okay, we're not done solving the triangle yet. We have found this missing side, but now we need to find the missing angles. And really, we only need to find one because we know all the angles add up to 360 degrees. What? Add up to 180 degrees. So what we need to do is we need to find one of these missing angles. Let's take any one of these formulas and let's set up what we know. So let's use b. Let's use this b squared one. Let's say b squared is 4 squared and a squared is 3.98 squared plus c squared would have to be 5 squared minus 2 times 3.98 times 5 times cosine of b. And so we are solving for the angle that is opposite of 4. We're solving for that one there. Now we need to simplify. We need to simplify and get cosine of b by itself. Now make sure you do the order of operations correctly. So what we can do is 4 squared minus, this is supposed to be a plus sign there, 3.98 squared plus 5 squared. So I subtracted this business here. I subtracted this business from both sides. Okay, and that gives us negative 2 times 3.98 times 5 times cosine of b. And then we can divide by this. We can divide by negative 2 times 3.98 times 5. And that's going to give us cosine of b. So let's see if I can keep all of that in my head while I switch over to the other screen. So in the calculator, we are going to say 4 squared minus 3.98 squared plus 5 squared divided by, we want divided by that whole thing, negative 2 times 3.98 times 5. And we get this 0.624. So this side right here, that equals 0.624, and that's the same thing as cosine of b. Well, if we want to get b alone, we need to do the inverse cosine. So the inverse cosine is going to give us b. So let's go back to the calculator and let's go ahead and say, I want to do the inverse cosine. And I'm going to type out as many of these numbers as possible so that it's accurate. And so that angle there is about 51 degrees. So this angle here is about 51 degrees. And that actually makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense because this is 4 and this is almost 4. This is almost 4. And so those angles should be basically the same thing. And now to find our last angle, we would do 180 minus 51 minus 51. So that's 102. So 180 minus 102 is going to get us 78 degrees. So this last one is 78 degrees. And that is how you solve the triangle completely using the law of sines.